how self-deceit, wearing a mask, insecurities, or low self-esteem can translate in dating. And I think you need to take time to get to know a person, to understand the many layers of a person over 6 months to a year or years or whatever. But um, I think if you've developed and done a lot of spiritual work and emotional work on yourself, looked at your own shadow, confronted your own fears, and if you really desire to go deep with a person, expand, like be anchors, be rocks for each other. I think it's like a different stratosphere. It's like a different kind of level than typical dating, which is just, oh, most men would be satisfied to find a beautiful woman who has a great sense of humor and is, submissive in the feminine way and you know, has that feminine magic or that mystical element of just true femininity where they like really pull out, they pull out that really fire in you and that protector, that leader as a man, so they complement you well and really embody, like, have such a taste for beauty and softness and nurturing and typically feminine qualities. But and I'm saying you can have all those qualities as a female, be beautiful, etc., inside and out, but also as a man who's done his work and is emotionally intelligent and discerning, that type of woman still may not be attractive to you as a life partner because she may have missing elements or missing depth, in the sense that, like, I feel like that innocent, sweet, fun loving girl can pass well for like most men. Like, they don't really, most men I don't think need much depth. They don't need as much. Like, the typical man, like in the 3D world, is just not demanding that much. But I think, and now I'm talking to like men or women, I think generally, if you're dating someone and they have an issue with their self-esteem or their sense of self, you will eventually find it very challenging because you will feel like they're a chameleon, or maybe early on in dating, they just, like, you say you like something and then all of a sudden they like it, or it's like they're always deferring to you. So it's like, oh, I'll just do whatever you want. But it's like, no, but I want to know what you want to do. Like, what's your feelings on it? Like, what's your opinion on it? It's like you want to know that a person has a backbone that's independent to you and they're not just putting on a face for you, putting on an act. Um, I think that can erode a relationship when someone, and a lot of people in this world, are deceiving themselves. So they're just not comfortable with who they are. So they put on a mask or a front, not in horrible ways, and in ways that are somewhat in a normal range of people. Like, they put on a mask, or they're kind of trying to be something that they're not, or they're like afraid to find that deep power within. So it's like, if you've gone on your hero's journey and you've done tons of work on yourself, it's not to say that you're perfect or that you're like an all-knowing saint. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's like you confront every day with like a warrior's mentality, with like, hey, I'm going to look at my ugly stuff. I'm going to look at my faults. I'm going to conquer the day, but I'm not going to run from the dark. I'm not going to run from my shadow and the shadows of others, and it's like, you probably would have also the ability to hold space for people that are going through dark times. Like, you don't run. You're not like allergic to emotions. Like, sorry about that dog. It's the neighbor's dog. But what I'm saying is, it's not crazy to really need that and demand that. And that is a very rare quality in today's world. That inner strength and that inner power to stand alone with just you and God. Like, you're fully actualized, or at least going towards your fully actualized power within God, within the Creator, that spark, that power that is the divine, that is that eternal aspect of all of us. Um, and I think if you are spiritually inclined, if you've done your work, you also feel like most people drain you. Like, they just do, like, just percentage wise, because most people haven't really even opened the door to doing that work. And it's not a contest or a competition, but it's like someone who's not aware of their emotions and they totally repress their emotions and like they don't even register them because they're just a good, happy boy all the time. And they like their sports and they like their red guy, blue guy, and they like their, TV shows, blah blah blah. They're just not even aware of it. So like that energy is draining to you though. If you're open-hearted and you like to receive all the pain, receive the lessons, hey, let's work it out, let's alchemize it, let's go through this metamorphosis, let's go through this, brutally crushing heartbreaks and soul crushing, devastating, losses and life changes and whatever, job changes, career changes, breakups, whatever you teed up in your divine plan before this, like however you're unfolding. But what I'm saying is you need to have someone who's not doing, like, a lot of people are very skilled in doing mental acrobatics with themselves and lying to themselves, like, about, it could be something as simple as like they drink a lot but they kind of lie to themselves because they just like to drink, or they need it for like 3 nights a week to soothe their anxiety, and they're like having 5 or 6 beers or something, and whatever, like, do what you want to do, but it's just a pattern. It's just like, do you have the capacity to be fully honest with yourself and fully present with yourself? Because if you don't, you 100% will not have the capacity to be fully, that person will not have the capacity to be fully present and honest with another. So it's kind of silly, right? Because there's so few people in the society, and I'm trying not to be negative here, okay? I'm working on my positivity, but I really am, I just think there's a lot less people that really have that capacity to go deep and treat things as sacred and really see the sacred, really feel the sacred. That's why you have to be very discerning to what you let in, and realize some people are playing that game, especially if you are a person that has value in whatever way you conceptualize that. You have value as a man, you have value as a woman, and you're a catch. And someone would love to be with you. So wouldn't it make sense that if someone would love to be with you and you're a catch, that maybe they would alter their behavior a little bit? Maybe they would like bend the truth a little bit or be more of a chameleon. And it's like, that's the thing that, to those of you that are doing that work and are more rooted in your purpose and in your heart, it's like, that's kind of unattractive when someone is acting more like a chameleon or shapeshifting in that way, because you're like, but I'm not getting a solid sense of who you are because you're moving around or you're wishy-washy, and that's annoying me. Because I feel like I'll get a better sense of you and your soul essence when you're like, hey, I like to do things this way, and this is why I am the way I am. This is what motivates me. Like, I have a clear North Star, I have a clear compass. Like, me being very rooted in who I am and like demanding authenticity in myself, I feel like it puts me on shaky ground when I don't know what a person really stands for, because then down the road, it's like, can you trust that person? You're having a family together, you have kids together, you have to like protect the safety and the best interests of your kids at all times, and raise them the best way that you can, and like instill good values in them, because they're going to go out in the world and influence it. And it's just that searching for like, are you solid here? Like, is your character solid? Are your values solid? Like, what do you really stand for, And I'm not saying you need to be like a superhero, like saving the world and being superhuman, or so loud or outspoken. It's more like, you can be a quiet person, but it's just like feeling into a person. Like, are you solid there? Like, are you have that strength to like stand in your power if you need to stand alone if you need to? That's something that I personally desire. That's something that I personally admire in someone. Because that's just a thing of beauty. It's just so magnificent to see someone, whatever their skill, their talent, the thing that they were put here to do by God, which I believe every single person has that, just many haven't tapped into it yet. But like, that's, the creative process of God. That's why we exist. Like, that's the passion. And what else is the point of living besides being in your power and like being an instrument or a trumpet of God, of God's beauty through us, because we're just in these, vessels, like expressing a different aspect of God. I'm Peter for a little while, then I go back home and do whatever and reset at mission control. Who knows, whatever. I don't have all the answers. A part of my soul is here right now, projecting into this experience or this hologram, and then it's like, okay, but your eternal soul's doing a lot of things, and I think because I never had, like, I rarely ever had that in my life. I didn't have those people that were like solid, that I could really rely on. And I'm gaining more of them now, and I'm like re-emerging in the world and forming more connections and realizing the need for that. But that was hard for me because I always had to go to God. I always had to go to God for that help and that assistance and that finding that anchor, finding that power and that trust. And yeah, I'm grateful for that. I have just always felt a sense of alienation though, like because just being on a different wavelength than family and friends, and just yeah, and there are periods where you're sort of isolated with God because you need to do your work or go out and do your hero's journey and your initiations. But there's also that feeling that some people are just, they're not kind, or maybe like they just don't like you, or they're jealous of you, or like they never understood your light and your energy signatures, so they like push it away. And then even in groups or families or whatever, like then they like all kind of unite against you because they're like, oh, he makes us uncomfortable, so like let's all collectively, like, I don't know, I just literally feel like I'm living in a totally different universe sometimes. I think there's the universe of emotionally intelligent, empathic, loving people, and there's the people that are like good happy boy consciousness, where it's you just obey the rules, and you just like, there's not much emotion, there's not much thought, there's not much like real joy, real love, real passion, or unique opinions really. But it is what it is. Still compassionate to every single person I meet. It's not like I treat them worse. It's just like sometimes I want distance from the world and a break from all that, you know, empty crap. Um, but I think it's okay to demand that honesty and demand that depth out of your person and be like, hey, I don't want to settle. Like, I don't want to settle for anyone who's not meeting me there, because eventually if you stay with a person like that, where it's like off, or like they're kind of hiding from themselves, or they're suffering from insecurity, or they're like dragging you down in that way because you feel like they're being a little bit disingenuous in certain ways, or they're like playing a role or putting on a mask for you in certain ways, it can be, I think that would get very draining year after year. And when you really think about it, that person can eventually cut off your connection to God, because it's like if you're pouring all this energy into a lover, a wife, a husband, um, that's your life force. Like, and then it's like, you got to think, like, would that person get in the way of me connecting to my highest truth, connecting to my highest power and God, and like my real purpose on this planet? So it's like, I think the best approach is to stay in pursuit of your purpose and your love and your highest truth and expression. And it's like, let people magnetize to you there. Let people find you there on that mission, or, a potential romantic partner, dating, whatever. And don't sell yourself short. It's like a lot of us have needed those initiation relationships that were like just brutal and heartbreaking, but you eventually rebuild yourself, and you find your way back, and you're a new version of you're more confident, you're more in your power, you're more like discerning, knowing exactly what you need and want. And I think you're worth it, you know, as a soul in a body at this just crazy, circus time on Earth. So it's the circus here. This is the circus on Earth. So I'm glad we all came for that. The main event, right? I'm glad we made it here. We all wanted to come back together and, just have this fun adventure and be among and amidst this crazy chaos and insanity and these swirling tornadoes of just craziness, which is really just all illusion, because fear is an illusion, negative thoughts are an illusion. We're pure love. The only reality is love. There's nothing except love. So every second that we remember that, it just dissolves all this nonsense out here. So don't ever forget how powerful you are. And we are transforming at every moment. So believe that and know that. Nothing can stop us. We are eternal victory. We are eternal victory. Every day, every moment. So thank you for listening. And yeah, just realize, I think that's a big shift when you realize your power and like you can be more in the driver's seat, and consider people's souls, just like, because you realize in the past when you gave yourself away too quickly, or you gave open too quickly, you let someone into your heart, and then they took the mask off later or revealed nasty parts of themselves and you got hurt badly. It's like, no, you're maturing, you're realizing how valuable your time and energy and love is in your heart, this center of God and creation and all of it, and just realizing you're worth the wait, you're worth the patience, you're worth the discerning, scrutinizing, um, realizing that it's sacred, and not just anyone will do. Like, not anyone will do for it. So a lot of people, they just don't even perceive on that frequency where they could be honest with themselves. Um, so yeah, just, you need your honesty with self and your honesty with God and your honesty with the world to be matched in a partner. They need to have that aspect where they can be naked, they can be vulnerable with you, like figuratively, like, and just lay it all out there, like no pride. Like, hey, we have open hearts, we're working together, we're learning, we're morphing, we're changing, we're honest about our mistakes. Um, we're not deceiving ourselves or the other, because deceiving yourself is deceiving another. So good luck and thank you.